Now, Turkey says it has made diplomatic contact with Egypt. It isn't clear what, if any, discussions have taken place. Egypt's state-run news agency MENA reported Turkey proposed a meeting to discuss further cooperation. Both countries have been at the opposing sides of several issues, including the Libyan conflict. Their relations became tense following the ouster of Mohamed Morsi, Egypt's first democratically elected president. For more on this, we're joined by Mikhail Bardavid in Istanbul and Adel Mahri live for us in Cairo. Mikhail, let's begin with you. How is Turkey handling this issue, and when should we expect to see meetings between the two sides taking place?
Well, Turkey has given very clear messages that it is eager to ease ties with Egypt. Statements made by the highest level of officials have indicated this openness, so the door seems to be wide open from Turkey's side. Let me give you a few examples. Now, Turkey's Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu had stated that Egypt's exploration bid had respected Turkey's continental shelf in the region and had paved the way for an agreement. He stated, and I quote, "As the two countries with the longest coastlines in the Eastern Mediterranean, if our ties and the conditions allow it, we can also negotiate a maritime demarcation deal with Egypt and sign it amongst ourselves." Now, there was a similar message given from Turkey's defense minister, Hulusi Akar. He stated, quote, "We have many historical and cultural values in common with Egypt. When they are put in use, we consider that they may be different developments in the coming days." So an indication of potential meetings in the next coming days. There was also a critical message from Turkey's presidential spokesman, and this is significant because Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan was one of the main critics of Egyptian President Sisi. So this represents potentially an olive branch from the highest level in Turkey. Ibrahim Kalin stated, and I quote, "A new chapter can be opened, a new page can be turned in our relationship with Egypt as well as other Gulf countries to help regional peace and stability. Egypt is an important country for the Arab world. It still remains the brain of the Arab world, the heart of the Arab world." So it seems that from Turkey's side, at least, meetings can take place very soon. It really seems to depend on Cairo's reactions.
Right. So, Adel, from what Mikhail is talking to us about, we're hearing a reconciliatory tone from Turkey. How is Cairo reacting to Turkey's latest stance?
Well, Cairo remains as it was during the past 8 years, despite the harsh criticism from Recep Tayyip Erdogan's administration against President el-Sisi himself and his administration. Egypt remains also quite discreet about this possible resumption of ties. When last September Turkey announced the continuation of intelligence cooperation between the two countries, Egypt chose to remain silent, and so does it seem that it's taking the same track also this week. Egypt appears to be quite cautious about how the ties will resume, despite previous announcement or earlier announcement that talks or ties with Egypt will resume without any prior condition. Cairo appears to be trying to set the ground rules for the resumption of ties. The state-owned Middle East news agency has cited an unnamed Egyptian official saying that for ties with Turkey to evolve, it needs to, first of all, respect international law and also stop interfering in domestic affairs, referring to previous Turkish accusations and description of the domestic politics in Egypt, specifically when it comes to handling the file of the Muslim Brotherhood, where many leaders of that group, which Egypt describes as a terrorist organization, many leaders of this group remain staying in Turkey, launching media channels that severely attacks and criticizes the Egyptian government on a daily basis. So there's a lot to talk about before trying to reach general agreements when it comes to the maritime economic zone between in the East Mediterranean, which Egypt and Turkey stand on different opposing sides in, and when it comes also to regional conflicts like Libya, Syria and Iraq, where also both Cairo and Ankara stand on opposing sides.
Right. Mikhail, coming to you and listening to Adel talk about the relationship that existed between Ankara and the Muslim Brotherhood. Ankara, of course, was a known supporter of Mohamed Morsi before his ouster in 2013. As such, relations with Egypt under President Fattah el-Sisi have been strained. Why are we seeing this change of heart by Turkey now?
Well, it seems this is a very strategic move for Turkey at this point, and a large part of the reason, of course, would be economic and the balance in the Eastern Mediterranean, though there are larger issues at hand as well. The main point seems to be, for Turkey at least, strategic in the Eastern Mediterranean. Ankara has repeatedly stated that it does not want to be excluded from the Eastern Mediterranean and that it would not allow it. Now, in November 2019, Turkey signed a maritime agreement with Libya's Government of National Accord. The deal was criticized by Greece, which in return signed a deal with Egypt and Israel. Now, if Turkey finds a way to mend ties with Egypt and even potentially sign a maritime agreement with Cairo, it would mean it could change the balance in the Eastern Mediterranean. Now, Turkish officials have argued that signing a deal with Cairo would mean adding a larger maritime jurisdiction for Cairo. And let me add that Israel has also stated that it is eager to work with Turkey, as Israel's energy minister stated that they are ready for cooperation with Turkey and that they'd like to see Turkey as a regional partner. So also the strain in ties between Turkey and Egypt has negatively affected trade between the two countries, which has had a downward trend in recent years. So this could also be turned upward if we normalize ties between the two countries. So mostly the change of heart seems to be very economic at this point, but could result in a win-win situation for both countries.